Hello, welcome, and thank you so much for accepting this invitation to come have this conversation with me. To start off, could you just tell a little bit about who you are?
Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Jocelyn, and I am the Director of Mental Health and Wellness for the National Benevolent Association of the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. I am a licensed therapist, a registered yoga and meditation teacher, a minister, and I essentially all of my work is centered around making sure that people are taken care of and that they get to experience the peace and shalom that God has for us. And also in that work, it's always important for me to say that I prioritize taking care of myself so that I can continue to be who I am here to be.
I'm so glad that you've already mentioned how important it is to take care of yourself, and then that like enables you to be able to take care of people and to be who you are to here. So I want us to talk about or practice together something that is important to you and that helps you to be stay centered and grounded, and check in with yourself.
Yeah. So a spiritual practice slash coping skill tool that is really important to me and that I do myself and that I teach to other people and practice with other people is using our breath. And engaging in a body scan. So we can do that, a brief practice here together now.
Yes.
So making sure that you are seated comfortably, feet on the floor, feeling comfortable in your seat. And if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can do so at this time. If you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, anybody who may be watching this, you could look at the floor before you. Mm-hmm. And we'll sit here for just a second, noticing and feeling our body against whatever we're sitting on, and allowing yourself to just kind of rest in that, letting the chair, the sofa, whatever seat you have, remind you that you are supported. And then here we'll notice the sounds in the room and move to the sound of our own breath. And we will begin to engage in what is called box breathing. And so with box breathing, you will breathe in deeply through the nose if you are able for 4 counts. You'll hold it for 4 counts. And then you will exhale for 4 counts and hold for 4 counts before you begin the inhale again. Now, I also make sure that I say that if you are not able to do a full 4 counts, please modify to whatever may work best for you. There might be 3 counts, there might be 2 counts. Okay, so let's do that together. We're going to go ahead and begin to breathe in deeply. 4 and pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2, 3, 4. And we'll do that one more time on our own, just counting in your head. Once you finish that last rotation of box breathing, you can let your breath go back to its natural pattern. Again, feeling yourself relax. You might notice that you feel different in your body. Your breath might feel different. And then we can do a body scan, and we won't do a full one right now, but we'll just start with one that touches on a couple of places. So we'll start with bringing our attention to our head, to our face, and allowing our face to soften. So you might let your mouth hang open slightly and let your jaw just relax. Let your tongue hang at the bottom of your mouth. You don't have to hold your face into any expression. You can just let it relax. You might feel your eyes hanging heavy behind your eyelids. And then we bring our attention down to the shoulders. Lift them up, back and down as we rest a little bit more in our seat. And we bring our attention to our hands. So we let them just hang limp at our sides. The same with our legs, letting them hang heavy. Remembering that we are supported as you bring your attention to your feet against the floor. And letting that bring you strength. You are supported. And here we will take a deep breath in and exhale. One more time, deep breath in and exhale. And one last cleansing breath, breathing in and exhaling. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes slowly. You might bring some movement back into your body, but just swaying from side to side, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, and coming back to the present moment. So that was a very brief example of doing some breath work, doing a body scan. Typically, in doing a body scan, we would go through in detail of the head, the top of the head, the eyes, the mouth, the nose, the throat, the heart space, the shoulders, the back, going through each part and taking time to just allow yourself to feel relaxed there. And what I will also say about this spiritual practice, because for me, it is a spiritual practice, right, of bringing peace into the body, is very important for us to get ourselves grounded and get ourselves to a place where then we can be more present and aware to what's happening around us.
That's good. I don't know. I think I loved a lot of things about that, but like also just, I mean, I like to think that I have a pretty good awareness of my body and all of that. And like, I've been really working hard to have a better relationship with my body. But then I think that like, whenever you would mention, like, I don't know, like, for example, you mentioned, pay attention to your eyes, and then you can think, and then, I don't know, just like, I didn't realize how tense I was. Like my hands were like that. And then you said, how are your hands? I was like, oh. Oh, then you said, but you might notice your eyes behind your eyelids, just paying attention. It's just something so, I don't know, so beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much. So you've talked about like just the idea of being present. And I think that's actually kind of a good segue into our conversation, which is we're going to be talking about like dealing with or navigating conflict and tension. And so I think that there's such a big part of being present in those situations to actually like deal with them in a way that might be helpful. And so I think that when I was thinking about navigating conflict and tension in general, I found myself thinking in two ways. Like one is when there is some kind of conflict going on and like I'm not necessarily a part of it, then I'm invited to sort of be somebody like a third party sort of to accompany the people working through it and to just be present to see, how I could be of help as a person who is like trying to be on the path to becoming a clergy person. And then the other side also is when I am like directly involved in conflict, or like a tense situation with another person. And so I'm just wondering what some tips are, or helpful strategies to navigating conflict in a way that's healthy for myself and for others.
Mhm. Yeah. So, navigating conflict, we all have to do it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the tension that we may be experiencing with people, I think as leaders, as clergy, people are looking to you to navigate it in a particular way. When also the reality is that you're human too, and you are going to have your feelings and your reactions. And so I think the first thing that comes with that is checking in with yourself and knowing yourself. So I would say knowing how you engage conflict and knowing that up front and being very familiar with yourself. Am I someone who's avoidant? Do I avoid conflict? Am I somebody who conflict makes me very anxious? And so I feel out of control. Am I someone who's confrontational? If conflict and tension arises, I'm ready to face it head on in a healthy way, or I'm someone who faces it head on in an unhealthy way. I don't even take a moment to pause and think about, okay, what's happening here? So knowing how you process tension and anger, what do you do in moments of confusion? So knowing that about yourself so that you can then see, okay, here's my strengths in what I do well. And here's some areas where I need to grow or I need to learn some other ways of responding to people. I think the other part of checking in with ourselves is just what we did a moment ago with our practice this morning of breathing and doing our body scan, being able to engage in the process of softening your body and locating where tension is in your body is helpful in ways that many people would not even imagine when it comes to navigating conflict and tension. Because when we are in a moment of conflict, oftentimes, as I said, some people become avoidant, some people become confrontational. So they either want to run or they either want to charge into it. And that connects to this fight or flight response that our nervous system has when we are in moments of feeling threatened, right? And it doesn't have to be a big threat for us to feel that way, for the adrenaline to start pumping through our bodies, right? It's like, okay, this is a coming. I don't know what's getting ready to happen. I need to protect myself. I'm, whatever the situation might be. And so because your nervous system is kicking into that fight or flight, our brain, there's signals that are going on in our brain that may keep us from being able to respond rationally in the moment, right? So all this stuff is happening inside of our body and our brain that people are not considering when conflict arises. So engaging in a process of taking the time to breathe, of taking the time to do a body scan, to do a brief meditation, to do a breath prayer as you walk through that process will help your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. And that's what helps our bodies to relax and be more present and be more grounded, and then be able to access our ability to think rationally and access our ability to process and to, use our emotional intelligence to think through what's happening instead of quick reactions, right? And so that's important. The other part too of doing the breathing and the body scan is when you can resolve tension within yourself, it can empower you to resolve it externally as well. And so you know what it feels like because you've been doing that with yourself to come to that place of relaxation. You've been regulating yourself. You can help other people regulate in the moment too. And I think with this complex process that's happening within us in those moments, God knows that's happening too. I always like to reference the scripture, I believe it's Psalm 139, of God made us complex being, how complex we are. So God knows that we have a nervous system. We have all of these things that are happening in our brain that are firing off in these moments, and that there are tools that will help us to be more present, to be able to speak well in those moments.